All right, looks like we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Employee to Entrepreneur Society. I am Kim Speed. I am your host of this group, and I am a brand visibility expert and business mentor to fellow entrepreneurs. I am an entrepreneur myself, and I am your biggest cheerleader. And each week, I like to bring on a guest entrepreneur to tell their story, their journey, to motivate us and give us some tips. And I am so excited today because my guest is Tammy Defoe. And Tammy is a experienced coach and instructor. She has over 25 years of experience leading, organizing, and teaching groups. She also has over 13 years experience teaching, coaching, and training individuals, and has completed 3 years of university studies, including courses in business, psychology, science, and kinesiology. Tammy started her journey into the world of business networking when she became a financial advisor in 2016. And she left financial services in 2018 and launched GTApreneurs in 2019. To date, she has hosted over 20 open networking events. She has coached 3 exclusive referral networking groups, plus she teaches the GTApreneurs Public Speaking for Entrepreneurs course. So I am so excited. She has a great story. That is nothing to what I know about her and what she shared with me, and I know she's going to share with us today. So Tammy, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much, Kim. Great to see you again.
You as well. So Tammy, I know that you have been an entrepreneur really for quite some time, whether it's coinciding with being working in a corporate position, but you know what? I'm not even going to explain it. Will you jump in and explain your journey to us, because it's wonderful.
Sure, absolutely. So out of high school, I was in the science program at university, and I moved into food and beverage management. And end of my 20s, I decided to switch careers. I had been teaching group exercise classes since I was 17. So 25 years. So thankfully, I don't look that my age, which is great. But yeah, so then I got into fitness. I'd always been doing it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go full time in this industry that I love, right? So became a certified trainer, worked my way up to supervisory positions, trained trainers and instructors. I assisted with teaching part of the fitness instructor certification program for CamFit Pro. I also have my own business. And as you were mentioning, right, in terms of personal training, I train people in their homes. I published 3 different print publications, 2 fitness and wellness calendars, and a personal training journal. Sold them in many different locations. And after 13 years of being in the industry as a trainer, I decided I need a change. Someone introduced me to financial services. So I got my licenses in mutual funds and life insurance and things like that. So I did that for 2 years.
Wait. Oh, like you jumped from fitness into financial. That seems like a big big leap.
It was.
Yeah. And more training, right?
Oh my God, you have no idea. A huge learning curve, actually. And, even though I've taken university in that, right, it's still a whole different field, And the first year business course I did take was helpful, but, it didn't go specifically into these other areas of mutual funds and insurance and, investments in general. So yeah, I got my licenses, did all the education, was trained by top CFPs in the industry, been in business for like 20 years. And did lots of sales and business training through that. But after 2 years, just decided, it wasn't the right fit exactly for me for the long term. So I'm like, okay, what else can I do? So I moved to the GTA and started just doing some part-time work. And then a back injury I had previously came back really bad. And so I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't stand. I was in a wheelchair. It was awful, actually. So a lot of pain. It was, again, really, really a terrible time. But after I was off the pain meds and that, after about a month, and I'm like, what do I do now? I'm in a chair, I have to make money. I sell my car. And so I'm like, well, I love teaching. I've always been teaching people. So I started teaching English over the internet to students in Japan and China, right? Which was great,
Wow.
Satisfied my need to teach in that, right? But by end of 2018, I'm like, okay, I need to get out of the house now. I had a walker, so I had progressed to a walker. And
so all this time you're trying to get better as well. So you're trying to take care of yourself, make money from home in in the time that you're trying to recover.
You got to do what you got to do, right? I mean, that's life,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
what are you going to do, you know? And actually, at that point, there's one point in the day and I just, was going to start crying. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, what can I do? And I could have said just given up and everything, right? But I'm like, no, what can I do? So I'm like, because there's always something you can do, right? And so I actually had started writing a book a little previous before. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue to work on this. I was doing surveys of people. I was sending them out on Facebook. And that's when I, looked into teaching English over the internet. I'd heard of other people doing that before. And, this is some advice I give to everybody, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what kind of day you're having, there's always something you can do, right? Yeah. And look for it. Don't let life beat you down, okay? Yeah. Because I told myself, I'm like, you know what? My goals don't change, right? I still want to be financially independent. I still want to have a family. There's things I want to be able to travel lots and everything else. So what else could I do right now? I'm not going to wait around for who knows how long it's going to take me to get better. So I found a way, and it wasn't easy, but I did it. And if anyone here has taught English over the internet to students in Japan and China, you'll know that they're like 12 hours behind us. So then you're like up really, really early or up bed really, really late, right? But you know what? It was a great time in that. I really liked it. But like I said, I wanted to get out of the house by the end of the 2018. So I had a walker, which, kind of as a former fitness instructor, personal trainer and that, right? It was, kind of, it was kind of embarrassing, honestly, right? And that, right, I felt kind of right, but I'm like, I still have to do it anyway. So I'm just thinking to myself, I remember I was going to the library in one of the rooms to teach it, right? And I'm just like, how did I get here? I mean, used to be so fit, right, on top of the world with, in terms of being, able to do whatever I want physically and that, right? And I'm in this state. So, but you just have to do what you have to do. And, you just have to suck it up, basically, right? And, then I did it and I got really positive feedback. That was actually, so what I did was I was on a public speaking course. That's what I did. Because I was like, what do I want to do now? There was no job out there that I wanted, really. There was nothing out there. And I've been doing public speaking my whole life. I started to, won my first public speaking contest when I was in grade 7, actually. My second one in grade 10. And and I said, obviously teaching classes for all these years, right? And then coaching individuals. So, fitness, wellness, nutrition, so I designed this course, right? Again, got positive feedback on it. I registered GTApreneurs January 2019. I also held one business networking event. So as you mentioned in the intro, that I first started doing business networking when I was a financial advisor. So I'm sure we've all been to events. We know lots of financial advisors go there, right? It's a good way to meet people. So that's one of my first experience, and as a trainer, when I wasn't training people at the gym, my job was to socialize with the members. So even though I was used to doing that, financial services was a whole different field. It's a whole different demeanor, So I learned all of that, right? Met lots of great people. So I saw different styles of events, different ones that I went to. This was in London. So I'm like, okay, so, how can I do something that, is a little bit different, right? Kind of put my unique spin on things. I saw a need for it. Right. So I actually was applying for jobs at the same time. So I was offered a short-term business development manager position with a local company. So I did that over the summer in 2019. And then I launched GTApreneurs full-time in the fall of 2019. So like you mentioned, since then, I've hosted over 20 networking events. I coached 3 exclusive business coaching and referral networking groups. And now recently launched a chapter in Mississauga, which is led by another great business coach. And we have another chapter opening up in Newmarket next month with another great business coach. So
amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So you know what? I love doing it. I love helping people, motivating people, teaching people. Like I said, my education at university from the Ivy School of Business and in business has been very helpful. All of my training experience in terms of being in the financial services industry, being where I've trained trainers and instructors, have my own business in the fitness industry, and then being in food and beverage management. So I really have an overall well-rounded conception of business. When I was a trainer, I would refer people to, acupuncturist, chiropractors, physiotherapists, social workers. So I'm used to that process. When I was a financial advisor, same idea. I actually formed my own referral group. So I had like mortgage, real estate, lawyers, and things like that. So I'm so familiar with this.
Kind of.
Right. So I'm like, when I started the company with public speaking and networking events, I'm like, you know what? There's no reason why I can't, expand into doing formal referral networking groups. Right. And so then I designed GTApreneurs networking groups. So we do, I have designed it to be very unique compared to what's out there. Would you mind if I
Right.
do a screen share for a minute? Is that possible?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Let me just seek so it's easy.
Let me just, I think I have to make you a host. There you go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let me just ask you a question first. If you go to McDonald's and you say, I want a Big Mac, what's McDonald's going to say?
Do you want fries with that? Of course.
Exactly. You want fries with that? You want to make it a combo? They've got us trained, right? And
Yes.
just by having their staff ask that simple question has made them billions of more dollars over the years. So I wanted to implement that concept to get more business from my clients. So for people who are members of the exclusive referral networking groups, I create a custom web page for all of them. And so instead of just emailing someone, seeing them, which is great, that only helps the one person who's getting the referral. These web pages help to multiply the referrals and get everybody exposure. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I have an example here of the landscaper. So we would say, oh, here's the link to the landscaper I was telling you about. He's really great. I've also included information about the other professionals in my exclusive network in case you're interested. So up comes Joe Smith. Phone, email, website are all linked, so they can call from their phone. This is a backlink for his website. And below that are the business cards of every other person in the group.
Aha.
And then if anyone clicks on these cards, it goes to their website, right? So regardless of who in the group is getting a referral, every single group member is always getting exposure.
Yeah.
So someone may have been looking for a landscaper where they're like, oh, I didn't know you knew an accountant or an naturopathic doctor. I was looking for one of those, right?
Yeah.
So so that is I'm always looking for ways to help entrepreneurs grow their businesses more. We also have a pod on LinkedIn where it helps to boost everyone's posts to get you more exposure. And, we have a great time. We're like a family, right?
Yeah.
And in addition to that, there's business education in all the meetings. So, and everyone gets a member handbook with all the business education in it, right? Right now it's about 50 pages. So we talk about how to boost your SEO for your website, how to create a great website, how to create different types of posts, how to optimize your LinkedIn, Facebook, public speaking skills, sales training. So it's a really comprehensive program, and I'm getting great feedback, and we're keeping expanding all the time. So I'm more than happy to talk to anyone who's interested. We do have a few positions left in some of the groups.
Right. And is this strictly for local people?
Yes. So the open networking events are open to anybody. Anybody in the world can come. There's no exclusivity. So you can have 5 financial advisors or 3 mortgage agents or, whoever wants to come. There's no commitment, right?
So there is opportunity to test it out and see and meet some people in a free networking, but then there's also the exclusive networking.
Right, exactly. So, and how the open networking events are is the first hour is free for everybody. So what it happens is we have a guest speaker, which is another way I help entrepreneurs actually, is giving them opportunities to be guest speakers at the events. And then we have elevator pitches, right? If people want to stay for part 2, we have speed networking, which is one-on-one networking with 6 minutes per room, and we rotate. The people who stay for part 2, they get a spreadsheet of everyone's information afterwards. So name, title, phone, website, city, company. And so easy to upload to your CRM to follow up with people. So that's $10 for people that want to do the whole event with part 2 in the spreadsheet. But people who are members of the exclusive referral groups, not only are they get the weekly meetings with the business coach, with all the coaching and everything else, and we often become each other's clients as well, but they also get access to all of the events in a year with all of the spreadsheets. But those ones are local. To be in the exclusive group, they are regional. So I've got a group in Thornhill. I've got one North Toronto, one downtown Toronto, one Mississauga, and one Newmarket, right? So that is, even though right now everything's virtual, whenever restaurants allow groups again, they're open, we would have a meeting per month in person, the other one's online, right? Yeah. So regional is important in that respect, right? Plus, we want to make sure that it's not just about each person getting referrals for themselves. They got to be able to refer to other people, right? So, but yeah, people are welcome to come out to the meetings as a guest. The exclusive meetings as a guest. They're welcome to come out to any of the events. I'm happy to have a one-on-one video call with them, right? And I want to learn about other people's businesses as well.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about networking is it's not ever a one way. It's all about 2 ways, or that spread of finding, new connections, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's for you, right?
Well, that's exactly it, right? And if people want to book a meeting with me after an event, even though I'm like, okay, I don't have a position in one of my referral groups for this person, right? But they want to book a meeting with me. So that's fine. I'll book a meeting with them as well, and it said maybe they know somebody who can benefit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or, maybe there's someone that would fit with that person's personality better, right? Or there's
Yeah.
something extra specific about them. So you know what? You never know what you're going to get from having a meeting, right? But that's the key. Meet new people, but book meetings, right?
Right.
The one mistake people do make, and I guess you wanted to ask me what advice I have for people, right? Is that,
Yes.
right. So you go to events and you say what you do and that's it. And then you get busy and you don't follow up with anybody, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't get clients unless you're booking meetings, right? And so if you just go to say what you do, maybe some people might book meetings with you, right?
Yeah.
But you can't rely on that. So more often than not, you need to reach out to other people, whether it be during the event to book a meeting. And it's also good to have like a Calendly link or some other calendar link you can do, right? Or right after the meeting, you want to be sending those LinkedIn requests and things like that to get meetings. So for people out there, you know what, you just need to make sure that you're booking the meetings with the events. Events are great to go to, but to get the most out of it, you do need to connect with the people on a one-on-one level.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, building those relationships, that's the whole key, right?
Exactly.
Right.
It's all about relationships. Exactly. Because you know what, maybe someone's pitch sounds great at the event, right? But you know what, I want to get to know them better. Like if I'm going to become their client or I'm going to refer people to them that I know and who trust me, I need to make sure that, they're going to be able to give great product or service in that. I need to know all the details. So it is important to build those relationships with people.
Yeah. And that is the nice thing about networking groups where you do come in and regularly meet with people. You get to have that know, like, and trust factor. Because, especially, if you're trying to hire somebody and it's something that costs, it's a bit of an investment. You want to know them. Let's face it, we don't necessarily hire somebody from, out of the blue or just online, unless they have spent some time developing that relationship. So that's why networking groups are great especially for people in, if they're trying to sell local and they're trying to meet more people. Sometimes I've had people balk at the whole, well, why would I go to a networking group? I'm not getting clients right away. Because you don't get clients like that. You have to build that relationship, right?
Right, exactly. You do have to build the relationships, and instead, at the meetings, we always do one positive thing in your personal life that's been happening last week, one positive thing in your business in the last week. We do make sure to get to know each other better, right? And also just provide that support. Some people are single, right? I'm single actually, right? So it's people like it when they share their wins with us and we can celebrate them,
and support each other.
Exactly. Support each other, and like I said, for the referral group, we need people who are givers, not just takers, right? So if everybody's giving to each other, we, become closer. But I mean, sometimes not just referrals, but becoming each other's clients can happen pretty quickly. Like, for example, there's a IT support person in my Thornhill chapter and I'm his client. Right.
Right. Yes.
And that, right. So, I mean, it wasn't too long after he joined my group, actually, I'm his client. So I'm like, I need computer service. Right. But I had to meet with him. Right. I trust him in that. And so I became his client right away. One of the other members of the group, and she joined September in that. And from the referral group members, I think at least 4 of us have become her clients just since September. And that doesn't include all the referrals we've sent her. Right.
Yeah.
Now, some other ones, or maybe financial advisor where, you're asking to invest all your money and stuff like that. Right. Then maybe that relationship does take a little bit longer. So, so in general, people do have to realize that you do have to put the time in. You do have to build the relationships. Right. And we want everybody to have one-on-ones with each other as well. And, we said, when you're coming to the group, other people want to know that you are committed. You do have great products and service. You have a great personality as well, because that's important. And then when they feel comfortable, obviously the profession is going to have a little different of a comfort level in terms of the time length, right? Then people will refer. That's what they're there for, right? And if you want to get referrals, you have to refer, right? That's how it works,
Yeah, exactly. It's reciprocal, and you get remembered when you help somebody out.
Exactly. And the other great thing too about the referral groups is we don't pay referral fees, right? So when we
Right.
send referrals, we do it to help each other out. You don't have to go paying referral fees. You don't have to track any referrals or anything like that. You just you send them. You can do a group chat with the people on LinkedIn or Facebook, or CC them on the email. Of course, you send the link so every group member gets exposure. And you know what? That's it. We're doing it to help each other out. You don't have to pay extra for that.
That's nice. Yeah, that's great. So you've been doing this since 2019? And how's the whole uh, transition, your pivot to online, has it gone smoothly? Has it been, are you like dying to get back to the in-person, or is this okay for now?
Well, I'm always the person who looks at the positive side of things, right? And,
Hmm.
when things first got shut down last year, I was a little bit down actually, right? Because,
Hmm.
not only do I host events, but I go to other people's events as well. And then, actually, a guy that I know, right? He's got his own business. He does his own events as well. And so he's like, come on, we're going to have a virtual event. I'm like, okay, fine. And it just made me feel so much better. He called me the night before. He's like, oh, I know you're single, Tammy. I wanted to see how you're doing in that, right? And come out to, my event. So I went out there and I'm like, this is fantastic. And I feel
Yeah.
great. So you know what? I'm going to bring everything online. There's no
Yeah.
reason to, right? And at first, the turnout was small. People weren't used to Zoom. Some people, like, they don't want to see themselves on camera, right? Which is fine. I understand that, right? But then thankfully, people realize that, you know what? If you want to do business, you have to go online, right? You
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
and it's definitely, helped keep my spirits up. I know a lot of people have done the same thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, of course, it would be nice to do in person, but the positives about doing things online is that it is more time efficient, actually, right? So
Oh,
you can,
yes,
right?
completely.
Yeah, you don't have to drive to the event and then drive home. You don't have to buy
Yeah.
things at the venue and drive home. You can book multiple meetings in a day, more than you ever could before, because you can do like back to back. So it definitely has its positives. Absolutely, for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to going back in person. But you know what? The virtual is not going anywhere. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
keeping, like, right now, I have 2 open networking events per month. One of them will stay online permanently,
Yeah. And it's
right?
great because it gives
Yeah,
people an option as
exactly.
well.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
what I'll do is the noon one, always the second Wednesday of the month at noon, that one will stay online. And
Yeah.
then the evening one, there actually might be more than one per month, but I'm not going to host them all. I'll host one per month in the evening. And then
Right.
there may be other coaches in other areas that will host other GTApreneurs events, because right now, like, it's great. I have people from, a whole GTA, right? And maybe some people outside GTA, they're coming, but when the real life happens, people want to maybe 20 to 30-minute drive from where they're going. So I'm going to
Yeah.
be needing other coaches to run the other events, right? So it will be great in that. And but I hope other organizers of other events also have some online, because as I said, it is more time efficient, and it's less expensive,
Yeah.
to do that. So I think it's going to be staying. So I think it'll be good to have a mix. Let's still have some in person, right? We want to feel that energy of each person, right, and get that going. But you know what? Let's also save some time and do some virtual.
So that's your group and all that, but you also do business coaching, and you do speaking training, right?
Yeah. So all the business coaching I do is through the groups.
Okay.
I actually unfortunately don't have time to do one-on-one coaching. I do have other coaches that I can refer people to, and I've had that recently. People, approach me for one-on-one coaching, and so I've referred them to other business. And I said I have several different business coaches that have different styles and different personalities and stuff like that, so I can assess who to refer. But yeah, all the coaching I do is during the groups. The public speaking as well, it's in the group format. So the next course is starting April the 26th, and it's a start to finish course. It's not an ongoing thing with a
Right.
membership. So, it's 8 weeks, 2 hours on a Monday night for 8 weeks. And there's some homework in between weeks and stuff like that. And every class builds on the previous class. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I love teaching it. It's fantastic. We do everything from starting with anxiety reduction techniques, right? And the elevator pitch, of course, we do 4 different elevator pitch styles. You get to,
Okay.
practice introducing another participant in the group. We're going to
Yeah.
practicing if you're going to be interviewed or you want to interview people, because this is what's going on these days, right? And also how to
Yeah.
construct and deliver great presentations, I mean, that's another great way to get new clients is to host webinars. But a lot of people are like, I don't know, how do I host a webinar, right? So whether it be how do you construct it, or, how can you be good at delivering it? Those are the two sides of the coin. So we do address that. So in the course, it's an introductory course. So we don't do about putting a whole webinar together, but people will be able to do 2 5-minute presentations throughout in 2 different styles, right?
Oh, that's great. This is really great help for, like, especially as we were saying, like, if you want to do a webinar, if you're doing online interviews, even if it's not you interviewing, if you're going to be a guest, just getting over that anxiety. But if you have a little bit of training and it helps to practice and put something professional together, it really makes a difference.
Absolutely. Right. And the thing as well, what's good about my courses is that everyone's starting at the same level, right? There's some other programs out there that are fantastic, right? But it's kind of like you're throwing in the really experienced people with the beginners, and it can be really overwhelming for the beginners. So in my course, everyone's starting at the same point. So everyone can feel comfortable. It's a safe place. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, because it's all about practicing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like how, you can, watch cars all day long, but it's not going to make you a good driver, right?
Yeah.
You can watch people on YouTube doing public speaking all day, but it doesn't make you a good public speaker, right? So we combine the teaching with the practice. You have to be practicing it, right? And then we give you feedback on how to improve in that. So when you go out in the real world to do your own webinars, or to be interviewed in other people's shows, or to interview people, then you feel way more confident, right? And and you're more experienced, right? And you learn all the tips and tricks, like how not to say for example, right? I don't know if I said or not today. I hope I didn't. I just said no.
Or getting past that so that you don't say, like, that it's sometimes that's the nervous thing, or it's just a filler word. But yes, it's one of my things that I do.
Right. And if you are putting on a webinar, then you should be practicing in advance. So it does give you the opportunity to practice, so you're not saying whereas this is impromptu, right? So if I said once or twice, okay, well, you can't really blame me that much for for it, right? But I would teach you. I teach you how not to do that. How to be confident, how to get rid of the anxiety, how to become. And we do as well. We do some conversation practice as well. So when you're in a business meeting, to help it go better.
Yes.
Better results.
And presenting a proposal or anything like that, it helps to have that, just giving you more confidence so that you're able to present yourself better.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right. And then for some people too, they need, assistance in terms of how do I even start the meeting, and that, right? And then how do I transition to the different parts of the meeting? So going to be giving everybody lots of great advice, and then they get to practice it. So, people come out of the course being a whole new person, and I just love it.
Yeah, no, that's really, like, it's such a skill that we all need to practice and continue to learn about. So I want to make sure everybody heard about that part of your business as well. But this has been really great, Tammy. I really appreciate you coming today. I know that we've touched on a number of things that you advise entrepreneurs to be doing and trying to get more success in their business. Is there anything else that you want to add in before we say goodbye?
Sure. Yeah. So, I think one of the things that you're really trying to help people with is that transition between employment and self-employment, right?
Yes.
So, the first step about that is to assess, what do you really like to do, right? What are the actual tasks that you like doing? And this is what I did for myself. I'm like, okay, well, I like hosting events. I've also been hosting social events for a decade, right? I like doing that. I like motivating people. I like teaching people, and then what type of experience do I have, right? And then the education I have, and then doing market research. What else is out there? Who else is offering what you want to do? Offering your product and service. How are they doing it? How much are they charging? Do they have packages and things like that? That's really, really important. You may think that, okay, I'm a great cook, I want to sell my brownies or whatever, right? And that's fantastic. But you know what? Who else is selling brownies? How much are they charging? Where are they doing it? Where do people want to buy it? Do they want to buy someone who's baking it in their basement? or would they prefer to buy it from a bakery, right? So you do need to have a really comprehensive plan before you invest any time or money into it, right? And then you want to be putting together steps. Okay, so after you're doing research, like, okay, I'm confident that this product or service that either there's a need for or that people would really want it.
Yeah.
Then you want to be asking some people, would you be interested in this type of
product? This is so key. Speaking to people. I can't, iterate this enough. This is so important. I love that you mentioned this.
Absolutely. You got to see what do people feel out there. If you're getting everybody's like, no, I wouldn't pay for that. Well, maybe you got to rethink that. Or who are you talking to? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe the people who are in your circle are not your ideal client, right? So that comes to defining your target market. And some people, they just, I can help everybody. You know what? That's what you say, you're not going to be successful. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only so many hours in the day and so many dollars in the bank. And even though we have a lot of similarities, there are a lot of differences as well. Right. Yeah. And even the big companies, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Nike, they do their advertising in a very specific way to reach their specific target audience. Right. So when you're thinking about target audience, you have to say, okay, who are the people who are most likely going to want to spend their money on this? Who are the most likely people? So maybe let's say if you got age groups, say age 20 to like 65 or 70 or whatever, and you're like, well, I can help everybody. That's great. But if you break it down to percentages, maybe like, I don't know, 3% of the 20 to 25-year-olds would do it. And maybe 3% of the 60, 65-year-olds would do it. But maybe 80% of like the 30 to 50 would do it. Okay. So then you have to tailor your, marketing plan, which is not just advertising. It's one part of the marketing plan is, being a branding expert, right? To those people. Now that's really still general, age 30 to 50, right? Yeah. So you also have to know, where do these people hang out? Okay. Well, people who are 30 to 50, they're on Facebook. Okay. They're not on Snapchat. Some are on Instagram, but if you want the young people nowadays, they're not on Facebook. It's Facebook, right? It's like, that's for the old people, right?
It's so true.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care. It's totally fine, right? So but you want to tailor, if you want to be targeting the teens and up to age 30, then you do want to be on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So that's right. So where do people hang out, and what are their occupations? Is your product or service occupation specific, right? Like, or it is interest specific. So maybe you want to be for people who it's a fitness product, for example, right? Or fitness service. Then maybe you want to join groups where they're all about fitness,
Exactly. Yeah.
So knowing those things, is there a certain income level you want to target, right? Some realtors, they are like to work with families for first-time home buyers, right? With small children. Some other people, they want to focus on luxury homes. So you have to find your niche and then tailor everything to your niche. And you're a brand strategist, brand expert and stuff like that. So this is where it comes in with consulting someone professional like yourself. Yeah. Right. When someone has the idea, they've talked to people, most people are like, I think that's a good idea. I know people who would like this. I may be interested in doing it. And you're like, okay. And so then you want to see how many dollars would it take to start it. Right. Then you want to be talking to a brand expert to see what is the best way to market this product. Okay.
Well, and what is your message? What is your story? How are you connecting with people so that they know what why it's important to listen to you?
Exactly. And you know what? There's thousands of everything. There's thousands of financial advisors, thousands of mortgage agents, thousands of life coaches. There's, thousands of everything out there. So how are you going to differentiate yourself? Yeah. Right. What's your competitive advantage? Why would someone go with you than anybody else? You may think you're great. You're the greatest person in the world. Your spouse thinks you're the greatest person in the world. Your mother thinks that, but they're biased, of course, obviously. Right?
Exactly.
Right? So, it's so important to do that and analyze it and, not waste time on, trial and error. If you can go to an expert in advance, get their opinion, right. And that you can start, good right out of the gates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. So great advice if you're starting out or even if you're growing, make sure that you research and survey. And every once in a while, even if you are in business, I like to go out there and survey, my audience again, and talk to people and hear what their problems are, just to make sure that I'm still addressing things and keeping on track with my audience, and knowing as much as I can about them is going to help me to deliver them the best product that I can give them. So I love that research and surveys and talking to your audience.
Yeah. And you made a good point, Kim, where it's not something you just do at the beginning
No.
of your business plan. It is something that's outgoing. Another thing that has to be ongoing is competitor research, right? There's always new businesses coming up in the market, and you need to assess, what are they doing? What are they all about?
Yeah.
And are they doing something maybe that's better than what I've been offering? Well, then you need to pivot. You need to figure out how can you stay in the game, right?
Yes.
Because that's life, right? I mean, before we all went to Blockbuster and we're shopping for movies in there, right? I used to like that actually, but that doesn't exist anymore. Now it's everything's online. And
it's
that's how
sad.
Yep, it is, and the same idea
but
with
things
right now.
Change.
They do. And people
what's so funny? Oh my goodness. Just last week we were talking with my kids and we talked about dialing a phone. And then we started to laugh because the word, dialing a phone came from when you actually used to dial it, and they have never seen that. So yes, things change.
Yeah. And so you have to be able to go with the flow. You have to be able to adapt, and you can adapt, or you can, I don't want to use the word die necessarily, but you can fall by the wayside, right? And
you can become like the dinosaurs.
You can look at dinosaurs, right? And unfortunately, it's been so tragic for so many businesses that have storefronts right now because of COVID, right? It's been so difficult, but people are learning that, I kind of do need to have a backup plan, right? And that, and for people who are able to somehow get online with their business to start making more income, then that's great. But if you're struggling with that, then you need to reach out to some experts who specialize in helping people take it online. And
I have to say, Tammy, one of the things that I would highly encourage, if you're in the GTA, then, go to GTApreneurs and check it out. But get online and find some networking events and start to speak to other people and see what's going on. You can't work in isolation. So the, networking events are a great opportunity. Even if you are uncomfortable with them, give them a try. People help you out. If you go to GTApreneurs, Tammy's really helpful in making sure everybody's connected and, knows what's going on. And, I've been to other events too. Everybody's really friendly. So don't be shy. Get out there.
And that's a great point, Kim. Whether someone hasn't even started their business yet, but they're thinking about it, come out to the events, because you're going to listen to all these other entrepreneurs say what they do, and it's going to give you ideas.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Never thought about that. Right. And then you can meet with them after too and get their feedback, and even if someone just wants to come and when it's their time to introduce themselves, they can just say, oh, hi, my name is Bob Smith. Just wanted to check this out today. Right. Thinking about starting a business. That's fine. You don't have to do anything formal, a pitch and that. Right. But yeah, come out.
Start to learn the systems and get to know some people. You might meet people that can actually help you move forward. So yeah, it's such a great opportunity. So I highly encourage people to check out your event. And so when are your events?
Yeah, so we always have one the second Wednesday of the month at noon and the last Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m.
Okay. So if people want to know more about it, how are they going to connect? I want to be able to make sure that people know how to connect to you. And I will put it in the show notes or the Facebook group. So with links to GTApreneurs, but if you want something specific or an email that they could reach out to you, how can they get in touch with you? Or what's the best way to connect with you?
Sure. People can send me a friend request on Facebook. They can send me a request on LinkedIn. I'm pretty responsive, within the day. I typically will accept that. And People can also send me an email. We can put that in the chat if that's okay, the comment section. They can also visit my website, so gtapreneurs.com. And in the top right corner, it says book a video chat.
Oh, great. So anybody can have a chat with you and talk to you about that.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tammy. This has been great and some great learning, great advice for all entrepreneurs growing, starting at all levels. Check out GTApreneurs. Check out Tammy for her speaking course. That's a really great idea for so many people, and we all need that. And Tammy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Kim. It was a pleasure.
All right. Well, take care and have a great weekend, everybody. Bye for now.